right in the feels. Believe it or not, this right in the feels hit me whenever I was trolling Facebook and came across a cartoon out of the blue. Now, I like cartoons. I'll look at the old Bill Maudlin stuff, the guy who did the World War II cartoons. I like those. I am a huge Far Side fanatic. I love Gary Larson's work. It's just it's great to me. I love his stuff. I do nothing like Gary Larson, but what I do draw, because I do draw myself, I draw a lot like George Trosley. When I draw cars a lot like what George is drawing. He does some epically good stuff. And he had a cartoon back in the day called Krass and Bernie. And I remembered that when I saw this one pop up on my feed and I went to go read the cartoon. Just out of the blue, because I haven't looked at anything that George has done in ages. I'm going to go in and actually take a look at it. And boy howdy was I not expecting what happened to me when I read that cartoon. So the cartoon starts off, it's Krass and Bernie, they're driving their 69 GTO. I believe it's a 370 horse Ram Air 4 4-speed GTO. It's a cartoon, but please bear with me. They're out on the road and this car pulls up next to them and it's a 1970 Chevelle with a 454 SS model. So it's really a cool car. And the guy revs the engine at Krass and Bernie and they add, they're like, okay, we're gonna go. They take off and they're running, of course, in Mexico, because you shouldn't do that sort of thing in the United States or purport to be able to do that sort of thing in the United States anymore. They're going down the road, something happens to the GTO, it pops, it breaks, and they fall off to the side of the road. The guy with the Chevelle turns around and comes back and gets out of the car, and he says, hey, Krass and Bernie, I know you guys, and he says, I'll help you fix your car. And Krass and Bernie are like, how do we know this guy? Now, I am absolutely paraphrasing this because I don't have it right in front of me. I'm showing you the cartoon as we go through this, but I don't have it right here in front of me. And he tells them the story about how it came to be that he has this 70 Chevelle. And basically what it is he was at a cruise-in. This guy with a Camaro, Trey looks at the car and the dude doesn't want him touching his car. He says, man, get off my car, leave it alone. And Krass and Bernie hear this and Bernie says, hey man, come over here, I want to talk to you. So the kid goes over and Trey starts looking at the car and they tell him all about the engine and they let him sit in it and he gets to shift the gears and stuff. And what they've done by that is created a car guy. They didn't know it. They were just being nice to the kid. Kid shuttles off on his bicycle, starts building model cars, has a paper route, which tells me that this probably is a cartoon that George did maybe back in the 70s or early 80s when you could still be a kid and do a paper route and actually make a little bit of money and put it together to buy something. Then the kid goes out and finds a Chevelle. Turns out it's a 454 SS LS6. That's not the 2013s when this cartoon was actually put in CarCraft in, I believe, September of that year. No, you're not gonna get that. But I'll suspend my disbelief to read the cartoon. So he fast forwards and he has this car now and he's been impacted by Krass and Bernie and falls in love with automobiles. I've been Krass and Bernie for someone. Back in the day, I believe it was like 91, let's just say it's 1991, I have just bought my first 5-liter Mustang. It was an LX 5-speed hatchback. And my nephew from my then marriage, he's about 5, maybe 4 years old, somewhere in that gray vague area. And I go out at Christmas time, oddly enough, in the car, and he's at his grandparents' house, and I pick him up and I say, hey, let's go for a ride in the new car. And I put Cody in the back seat, and I look over the back seat and I say, Cody, this is horsepower. And I just bomb it. And boiling smoke, tires roasting away. I hit all the way through first gear, I'm boiling the tires, hit second gear, bark them into second gear, bark them into third gear, and then I slow it down and I stop it. And he's in the back seat. He's absolutely wide-eyed. And his first words after we stop are, cool, can we do it again? And we do. We're in Mexico, so it's okay. Cody has become a fabricator and street rod builder. He has worked at Paint House in Texas. It's in Cypress. I know the guys at Paint House, super nice bunch. They do some awesome automobiles there. He has worked with them. He is now working in a street rod shop in Southeast Texas. He is an absolute car guy. He's turned into a Chevy dude, which, you know, for me being a Ford guy, and I am a Ford guy because my last name's Ford. Me being a Ford guy, that's not actually cool in a way, but it is cool because he's a car guy. And I am responsible largely for making Cody Cyphers the car guy that he is. But he's not my last one. My stepkids, all the way from Logan Johnson down to Nolan Johnson, like cars. Almost all of them can tell you what an old car is when it goes by on the road, or they will car spot in parking lots and gas stations and whatever. You know, Logan has the 65 Ranchero. His brother has the 66 Falcon that we call Wonky that we're doing on Manic Mechanic. The twins, Jameson, the older twin, theoretically, I still tease him that we really aren't sure that he's the first of the two twins. He has lust for OBS Ford trucks. Anything 1994 to 96 or 7, that boy's all over it and he wants one, and that's what he wants for his first vehicle, which I hate to admit this because I'm old now, because I'm going to say this, it's a classic. God, I'm getting old. And Joseph, his younger brother is looking at buying a Mini Cooper, I don't know, supercharged thing, whatever. I'm not really into the European cars much. Sorry, that's just how it is. I like them, just not really into them that much. And Nolan, holy moly, that kid's got desires and wants. He wants a Hellcat that is black and pink with the Hellcat logo done on half the car in pink. He knows what he wants. He also wants a 4x4 lifted truck in white, gray, or black. He doesn't seem to care too much about any of the colors choices on that side of it, as long as it's white, gray, or black. He wants a lifted truck. Newer, he's not into the old stuff. He's not there. He doesn't, you know, because for him, old is a Hellcat. And probably by the time he gets around to having one, they won't even allow us to have gasoline-powered cars. Sorry, my old man came out for a second. It's stunning to think about the impact that you can have on people like that. And that cartoon, I read it again this morning just to make sure I felt the same way I felt when I first read it, and I do. And the question I have for all of you guys is, have you had that impact? Have you gone out there and made a car guy or gal out of someone? Are you a dad with daughters that are playing with cars now because you played with them? Or a car dad that has boys that are now doing the trucks and cars? They may not be doing exactly what you're doing. They may be into imports or whatever, but because of your influence on them, they're into cars. That's how we grow the next generation of car people, folks. That is the biggest way we can do it. And it doesn't even have to be your own kids. I mean, I did it with my nephew. I'm doing it with stepkids. So that's how we're going to grow this hobby. Plain and simple. That younger generation, they're the ones that are going to carry the torch after we're long gone. And maybe even their kids. You know, that song by Rush, the Red Barchetta, which is actually Barchetta. Sorry, Rush, you mispronounced it. That song kind of talks about what we were talking about. That old car hidden in a barn underneath a bunch of straw that he takes out, has the wind in his hair experience, racing against big machines. Well, folks, that's the Rumble for this week. Do me a favor and be sure to be kind to each other, love on each other, and treat each other nice in this holiday season. I know it's humble, rumble, and bumble, but be nice. And we'll see you a little later on. Still got to come up with a way to exit that. I got to figure that out.